The Cigar Nerds Podcast.
And welcome to Cigar Nerds Podcast. I'm your host, Smokin' Joe.
I'm Brad Jackson.
And what are we smoking this week, Brad? This is not a beer on the table. This is actually a cigar box.
Yeah, this week's going to be a punch to the gut for all of you dad bods out there. But yeah, we are smoking the Punch Dad Bod.
Yeah, and it's like, in my weight loss journey, I think I've finally achieved peak dad bod. Like, if I lose more weight from here, I'm just gonna get less attractive. All right, like right now I'm at perfect dad bod level.
Yeah, I mean you're a tall dude, so
get too scrawny. Yeah, this is their kind of Father's Day special, and it comes in these beer cans that hold 5 cigars each. They come in a 4-pack for if you buy a box of 20, and even it's a weird Figaro. It's skinny at the tip and then kind of fat in the middle, like a dad bod. And even the band that's on the cigar is like a tie. It's wearing a little tie. So yeah, plenty of time to get your father a can of these for Father's Day.
Well, I mean this is a very unique blend too. I mean, dude, they put a lot in this. I wonder if Punch is just hey, we got a whole bunch of extra tobaccos laying around. Let's just throw them all in a binder and,
Tobaccos from 6 different countries.
Yeah, so, you got the Brazilian Matafina, the Dominican Palito Cabano, Honduras, and Nicaragua.
La Entrada from Honduras and Conega from Nicaragua. Wrapped in a U.S. Connecticut broadleaf binder and a African Cameroon wrapper. And I say it starts off, it's got a little sweetness, but then just a kind of a touch of spice, maybe a little.
I don't know, when I hear people talk about
leathery,
creamy cigars, I'm kind of thinking this is what they mean. Normally I don't pick up too much on a creaminess, but dude, this is just a smooth smoking cigar. I would say more on the medium side to me, but there is with all the sweetness and creaminess, just a touch of spice that's kind of on the tongue.
Kind of like when you put too much cream in your coffee. So it's mostly cream, but you still get that little bite of there's some coffee in this cream.
But I don't know. It's weird, I mean, we've smoked some weird shaped cigars, throughout the years, I was thinking this would be the Fat Bottom Betty, or possibly the football, but I don't know. It's weird. Now I just feel like I'm smoking a blunt.
Especially if you kind of
we went over to Snoop's house and he packed us something special.
Yeah, dude. Once you get past that kind of bulge, it does turn into a cone. If you've ever seen the weed cones. So yeah, you pretty much have to take the band off because the band tie runs the entire length of the cigar. So yeah, after a minute.
Wait, maybe you're supposed to smoke the tie. I see all of the epic grill and turkey fryer fails and everything where people try to blow themselves up. So maybe that's it. The tie is like the fuse. Maybe we're doing this all wrong.
Shit, all right, I still got 2 more. We're going to see how it smokes with the tie still attached. Oh. Well, speaking of daddy issues, this week we're going to be talking about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Wow, that is not where I expected you to go with daddy issues.
I mean, Star-Lord's dad was a evil god, and, yeah. Rocket didn't have a dad. There's a lot of daddy issues if you pay attention to that. Not the fun, lady type of daddy issues, but the other kind, the sad kind. And if you're going to have to fight off a megalomaniacal scientist, you should call in the Strike Force, strikeforceenergy.com. Use your promo code CigarNerds for 20% off your order. Get all caffeinated up to invade a small planet or what have you. And we're going to smoke this here dad bod and get into the main topic here. And welcome back. It's time to guard the galaxy. Or Nardians of the Galaxy, depending on your pronunciation.
Yeah, I would, before we get into anything spoilerish, highly encourage the folks that haven't seen this one yet to go see it. Don't fuck with the trailers or anything else. Just go see it.
Yeah, this one we talk all the time about like man, is it worth going to the theater anymore? Some of that shit, we'll just wait till video. This one I think deserves the to see on the big screen. Because there's just a lot of shit going on in this movie, and it's just you kind of need the screen for just for epicness.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this was, very story driven. Kind of strayed from some of the previous Marvel in some aspects, and then focused and I mean, we talked about the trailers and everything else, and
complete cock tease too, by the way, because from the trailers you're like, somebody's definitely gonna die in this. Spoiler alerts. Nobody that you give a fuck about dies. Like, bad guys die, but I mean, hell, how many times we see that trailer of them like carrying what looks to be a lifeless Peter Quill around, and then you're like, oh no, he just passed out drunk. I was like, you cock teasing motherfucker.
See, I thought that the marketing behind that was just pure genius. Like so many times. All right, we've seen the whole movie now. This time, just blatant misdirection, and I love it.
Yeah, and I mean,
which then again, are you surprised that they didn't kill off, a main character? Like that's kind of been Marvel's, like, outside of,
especially with like contracts ending, because we know, I think Dave Bautista's like says he's not returning, or he has in the past, and this being like James Gunn's kind of final film, because he's going off to run the DC universe and hopefully make something out of that than the kind of the weird shit they got going on now.
But where does that leave? We'll get, toward the end when we talk about the future. But yeah, I gotta say, this was one of those that, like,
a lot of crying in the trailers too. You're like, oh my, yeah, somebody's definitely fucked up.
Dude, there was a lot of crying in the fucking auditorium. like I look over at Rachel at one point, she's like fucking wiping her tears on my arm. Like, she's like, I hate it when you bring me to movies, because, I always expect we're going to go see some nerd shit, and then, they hit me in the feels, and I'm like, yeah. That's what you get for dating a nerd.
And I gotta say, like, of the entirety of the Marvel Universe, the Guardian series has probably been some of my favorite movies, because they're fun. I mean, some of the Marvel stuff, Marvel's always like fun, but then some of them get kind of serious, where the Guardians movies have always been just kind of like, I can enjoy this.
I'm a group of my friends, we're going on an adventure.
A fun time. And then this one is like, oh fuck, there's some like, I mean, they're still like hilarious, great music. I don't know if he like, if Gunn like actually like writes to music where it's like, here's the songs I want to use, let me write a scene to go with it, or if it's like he writes the scenes first and is like, all right, what song's going to fit this? Because it blends like so well.
Yeah,
but then there's like some like tearjerker moments, like some serious shit in this movie, and you're like, didn't expect this from a freaking Guardians of the Galaxy. And I
mean, in a way, I kind of did. Like, I think, like, they really pushed the threshold in this one too. Like, what was this rated PG-13?
Yeah, because that's
they dropped a few fucks, some shits, and kind of pushed that.
You can get one fuck in a, I believe PG-13. Like, if that's all you're allowed is one fuck, and this is the first fuck in Marvel, in official Marvel. This is pre Deadpool.
Not Deadpool.
Yeah, because Deadpool was technically still part of like Fox. Now he's like officially Marvel, but yeah, as far as the the regular MCU, Star-Lord got the first fuck. He literally had one fuck to give.
But I wonder if this is, James Gunn of, kind of giving the middle finger just to show, how he can captivate an audience and, persuade those emotions. And, dude, I'll tell you, like, I can't think of a single DC film that's gotten me that way.
Yeah.
Like I'm kind of a cold-hearted bastard, but like I like animals more than I do people. So like, at a couple of points, I'm like, fucking kill them all.
And you're right. You may be like it may be Gunn just kind of like, fuck y'all, I'm out. Because if you'll remember, he did get fired at one point because like some fucking tweets he made or something during the whole like cancel culture era that was bullshit. And DC's like, fuck, we'll take him. And then Marvel's like, oh no, we never mind. They weren't that bad. Please come back and finish this trilogy. So it's like, it's almost like, all right, let me make the best fucking film I can, and then just drop the mic and be like, peace, bitches, I'm going to DC.
Yeah, because I mean, God damn it, I want to talk about future, but we got to get through the here and now first.
So yeah, if you've watched the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special, the Guardians basically bought Nowhere and has turned it into like a kind of a safe haven for anyone who needs a place to chill, and is basically starting a base / city to run their shit from. And it just starts off with like, fucking Peter's still like PTSD'd out from losing Gamora, and he's just fucking gets hammered drunk, and they have to put him to bed.
He does what every person, in their rightful mind should do. You don't need to feel those emotions. Just drink them away. That's right, Pete. Just do what you gotta do, buddy.
That whole like tease from the trailers of them carrying what looks to be like a dead Quill is like, no, he's just dead ass drunk, and we're putting him to bed. It's not even like the end of an action sequence. It's just like, nah, Pete just ran too hard. And you got friggin' Cosmo's back, that we saw in the holiday special, the Russian cosmonaut dog who has telekinetic powers. And it's funny as shit. She's making fun of Kraglin because he still can't figure out how to work that arrow he got from what's his name? Yondu. And she's like, see, look, I can do this, and like levitates a rock. And he's like, you know what? You're a bad dog. No, take it back. I'm not bad dog. It's like the running joke through the whole movie. Like it's like, they cut back to what's going on Nowhere, where the Guardians are out, and they're like playing like space poker or whatever. And she's like, do you believe he called me bad dog? And it's like, come on, dude. She's not going to stop talking about this shit. Can you just please tell like, I can't take it back. She's in fact a bad dog.
I just want to be at a fucking poker table with Howard the Duck.
Yeah.
Like, just the fact that like everybody's sitting around shooting the shit, and it's like, fuck, it's Howard.
I'm surprised he's not got his own like movie yet, but yeah, he just kind of shows up in these random Guardian movies, like chilling, like literally, dogs playing poker, or a dog playing poker.
It used to be like one of my favorite pieces of artwork. Just the 6 or 7 dogs sitting around playing poker.
A couple of them are cheating.
Yeah, it's fine. If you're not cheating, you're not trying hard enough.
Oh, and then you got fucking. Last movie we had Baby Groot, or adolescent Groot, and then kind of teen Groot in the Endgame last 2 Avengers movies. So now we got, I don't know, like young adult Groot or something, but he's gotten swole. Like original Groot was kind of like scrawny. We're like fucking, he's all like buff and shit now.
Yeah, he's like Vin Groot.
I'm Groot. Family. But then they get attacked by Adam Warlock, who we saw being like incubated at the end of the last movie is like supposed to be the ultimate weapon. But apparently our big bad from this movie is the High Evolutionary. Apparently they pulled him out of the microwave too soon, because even though he's like this like supreme being, he's also kind of a dumbass, which is I thought was hilarious, where he's like,
yeah, because I thought in the comics,
still like a child.
He,
in the comics, he was like a big part of,
once he gets the Infinity Stone,
like taking down Thanos and shit. But like he didn't show up in any of those movies, and he just kind of showed up now to exact. They want him to capture Rocket, and get vengeance for the fucking High Evolutionary or whatever. And he's just kind of an idiot, which is it's like a superpowered idiot. He's kind of hilarious. But yeah, he attacks Nowhere. And fuck it, when he like kind of, I guess, a shout out to The Thing, because he like ends up like blowing up Groot, and Groot is just a head with these like tree tentacles like walking around at one point. I'm like, oh man, that's fucked up. That's kind of like the fucking that scene from It where they like where the head pops off the body and starts running around like a little weird fucking crab. I was like, that shit'll give you nightmares.
Yeah, like this whole film just did such a great job of, you know, taking you through the emotional roller coaster. You know, you get your scenes like that that's like, all right, that's almost like horror movie-esque. And then you get your traditional, like, hey, funny, laughing, lightheartedness. And then, you know, you get your, hey, this shit's going to hit you right in the fillers.
Yeah, because, I mean, this whole sequence starts off with, like, you know, Rocket stole Pete's Zoom and is, like, you know, just fucking vibing out and singing along to some songs as he's walking through nowhere. And then they got to put drunk Pete to bed, and then all of a sudden the fucking Warlock shows up and it starts fucking shit up, and we get like a whole damn like badass like battle across nowhere with all the Guardians kind of jumping in and out, and fuck it, Rocket getting injured, and then we find out they can't kind of heal him with a med pack because he's apparently proprietary technology and has like a kill switch if anyone tries to operate on him or use a hell. So they're like, fuck, we got to go find the code to turn off the kill switch in Rocket. But I gotta say, you know, Chris Pratt is a fucking excellent actor. Like, I'm like, yeah, he's kind of the goofy guy, like, you know, action comedy dude. But then he did The Terminal List, and you're like, oh fuck, this guy's got like acting. He's got more range than being the goofy guy.
Oh yeah.
But in this movie, like when
he's all over, dude.
Yeah, like well, I mean, he's like straight up ugly crying and like just fucking spit coming out of his mouth when like, you know, they think Rocket is like, you know, may die. I'm like, fucking homeboy, like, you know, way better actor than this movie deserves. I'm like, dude, you're in a silly fucking fighting space aliens movie, and this dude's like bringing the fucking A game. Like, holy shit.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I mean, you know, it's awesome. Like when they first announced, you know, Chris Pratt, The Terminal List, I was like, you know, like that's dark. It's gritty. Like, is he gonna be able to pull up? But yeah, I mean, he does the dark and gritty. He does, you know, the comedy, he does, you know, the drama, like, I mean, just absolutely legit. Like, it's not just that guy, you know, holding velociraptors back.
Yeah, because, you know, like, he's done a lot of action stuff lately, and it's all still kind of a little bit comedic. But yeah, like, dude can like turn on the like. I mean, he was like just straight up this fucking like spit coming out of his mouth, like fucking, you know, ugly cry, and then it was like, damn, you know, dude's a good fucking actor. I was like, I don't know why I'm still surprised by this. Like,
maybe that's why we're not directors. We don't see those qualities in people.
Because even like, you know, Jack Carr, he's like, yeah, that's when I kind of played the game of who would play James Reese. I was like, I thought Chris Pratt, and I'm like, really, dude? That does not seem like a James Reese dude. And then you see it, and you're like, oh fuck, like Jack was right. This is dope.
I don't know, when they were first talking about Terminal List, like, I figured they would go, you know, somebody Ranger Experience or something like that, you know, like, for real operator, but...
Oh, speaking of operator, I watched a video, Terran Tactical. I started following his YouTube channel, and he had both Punishers out at the range. He had Bernthal and the guy, Thomas Jane.
Thomas Jane, yeah.
And, fucking finally, like, you know, running them through some drills and shit. And finally, he's like, fucking Barenthal just like tells Terran, he's like, dude, just run it as fast as you can. Like, let's see, like, you know, Terran at like fucking 11. He's like, okay, and just fucking just runs that shit. And then both Punishers like, god damn, this is the real Punisher.
I'd like to see him team up with Kiana. Just to see, you know.
Keanu versus Frank Castle. John Wick versus the Punisher. I don't know who does.
Dude, I'd have a hard time rooting. Like,
Yeah.
I don't like. Yeah, I don't know. Like that's.
Oh yeah, that's a hard one. They may have to partner up. It's like, yeah.
I mean, at this
I don't know.
point,
We
who
could
has
do,
the highest body count? Like,
That's one thing I've not looked up. Is like, I don't know if there's like a list of how many bodies John Wick has stacked at this point, because it's got to be fucking like epic numbers. But yeah, kind of going off topic, but we find their they kind of find the
439.
nice. But yeah, we get they go to the
Punisher, 48,500 roughly.
Well, he's been doing it a lot longer. He's had a comic book for for a minute. Oh. But yeah, they go to some corporation world where the people who supposedly made some of the technology that made Rocket to try to find the kill switch deactivation code. I gotta say, that place looks like a butthole in space.
I mean, dude, it's space, okay? Beggars can't be choosers.
Because the whole like space station is bioengineered. It's like grown instead of built, and it's a very like fleshy pink color with a central docking port. That it looks like a space.
They call
butthole.
that an exhaust port.
There is a space sphincter.
I mean, Star Wars did it.
Oh, and of course the Nebula's like, I've got a contact that can get us what we need to like get in there, and it's alternate timeline Gamora. So now Peter is even more sad because he's like, you look like my girlfriend I lost, and he even tries to like because they're in these spacesuits, and he tries to like contact just her spacesuit so he can be like, I really miss you and all that. And then for the rest of the team's like, dude, this is an open line. We can all hear you. And it is like very sad. He's like, what? I hit the green button. He's like, no, the green button is like not for the green suit. That's for like everyone. The red button's for the green suit. The yellow button's for the purple suit. It's like, what? So he's like, yeah, fucking
At this point, just hit all the damn buttons.
bearing his heart out, and like they're like, yeah, dude, we can all hear you, and you sound like a dork. And at least Nathan Fillion, because he has like a cameo in like all of James. At least he got some lines in this or actually, because he was an alien in the first Guardians. He was one of the guys in the prison, and then he was like just on a poster in like the second one. This one he actually got to show his face. He was like one of the security guards at this facility, and I like they go in there and he's like, because Drax can't lie, and he's like, dude, we're techs. There's a hole in the wall. We're here fixing the. And then Drax says something like, yeah, we're totally techs. And he's like, sorry, fucking boss's nephew. I had to put him in the team. And freaking Nathan Fillion's like, oh yeah, I got one of those. Like, this guy I love. This guy, he's a fucking moron. I get it. Carry on.
Dude, I'm digging this cigar.
Yeah, it's
Like, once you start getting about to the halfway point, like, it really opens up.
yeah, I'm gonna have to go buy another can of these before they sell out, because this be pretty fucking good. You can get them at the cigar shop if you're local to us, or somewhere on the internet if you're not local to us. I think this is a limited edition run, so pick them up while you can.
So does this count as a beer run?
I'll allow it.
But yeah, just that whole fake it till you make it, like just the diversity of all the characters, just to be like, all right, we're in a situation, and it's like, yeah, but we got a Star-Lord. He can talk enough shit to get us out of anything. Like, I used to think that was, one of your big qualities. Like, You just
Pretty
have
much.
the, ability to sort of bullshit, your way, but you know when to shut up. Like, you don't just drag the story on so that it's not plausible. It's like, and I'm going to leave you with that. So
You just
think about it.
it's
And
little details, just go on about your day. It's like, you gotta know when to shut up. Drax didn't know when to shut up. I gotta say, dude, but like, the Ant-Man Quantumanium was almost hard to watch. I mean, it was almost too colorful. Where this is colorful as shit, but I didn't have any problems like, focusing while I was watching this movie. Where
this didn't make me
fucking
feel like I
Quantumanium
just
was
ate,
I'm gonna get motion
a
sickness.
handful of shrooms, and it's like, it's all distorted, and like there wasn't anything. I don't know if anything. I mean, because you got so much origin and backstory, like this film actually felt very dark to me in comparison to previous Guardians films.
Yeah, because throughout the Guardians are kind of on this mission to save Rocket, but while Rocket's kind of in his medical coma, he's like having flashbacks. So we're getting this is like really Rocket's movie, so we're getting all of his backstory that he's not wanted to talk about, how he was literally just a baby raccoon, and this fucking high evolutionary guy is obsessed with like creating a perfect world. And he's basically built like they call it Counter Earth, where he's trying to build these, a perfect society. And, he's experimenting on all these, trying to evolve these Earth animals. And, Rocket was one of his experiments. And kind of an early version. And they stick him in the kind of with the other one. So he ends up meeting the other experiments, which one's a otter with robot arms. We have a walrus with wheels, and the thing of nightmares, the robot spider rabbit with like bear trap mouth. And they do a good job of like making you like kind of feel for these characters. Dong.
No, they.
And I like even one like where they're like, we're not experiments anymore. Like, I don't want to be known by like 8731 or whatever it was. Like, call me like, what was it? It wasn't Lily. It was, but yeah, the.
It doesn't matter. They're just fodder. They're just fodder in this story. Like that was probably my only gripe is
Lilla, Lylla, voiced by Linda Cardellini. But yeah, she's like, I want to be known as Lilla. And they're like, oh, that's a pretty name. And then the walrus is like, call me Teeth, because we all have teeth, but mine are the most prominent. And then the rabbit's like, I want to be called Floor because I like laying on the floor. And they're like, well, what about you? Because he's like, saw a spaceship, and he's like dreamed about building spaceships and flying away with his friends. He's like, call me Rocket.
Yeah, that was probably, just my only gripe is, introducing characters just to kind of make them fodder for the sake of the story, like.
But it makes sense how fucked up Rocket is because like.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I've gone through these traumatic experiences. The guy that created me, hates me because I've proven that, I'm smarter than him in some regards because I figured out something that they couldn't, and then to find out that, oh, well, you're part of the Bad Batch anyway, so, there's no escape for you. You're going to the incendiary.
Yeah, because he's like, we've come up with this new technology, because he finds out like Rocket's kind of like a genius brain, and he's like, so now we no longer have to do surgery to improve you. We can just basically pop you in this microwave and force evolve you. And the first one he's using as a demonstration is a turtle. And I'm like, dude, are we going to get Ninja Turtles? Like, is this dude going to come out no ninjutsu? But it's like the problem, like the first version of him is like, well, we can make them big and strong, but they're like super, super violent. And he's like, we can't figure it out. And then Rocket's like, oh, it's the filter. The filter in the thing is too small. That causes excess buildup of what was that thing y'all said? Yeah, that thing. That's the thing that makes them bad. And he's like, okay. And then later on, he's like, brings him in. He's like, check it out. And it works. He's like, how the fuck did you figure this out? You're just a fucking raccoon and I'm the high evolutionary and we couldn't figure this out. He's like, oh, I just did. And he's like, are we going to go to the new world now? And he's like, fuck no. Y'all are like, fucking like last year's experiments. Y'all are like, in fact, we're just going to like, I'm going to cut your brain out so I can, because that's the whole kind of, we find the plot of why he's so desperate to find Rocket is because he's finally kind of to his level, like built the perfect race, but they're smart, but it's just kind of memorization. Like I can memorize a whole bunch of facts.
They're not free thinking.
Like I can build an engine, but I can't like have a creative solution to a problem.
But even then, like, him trying to create, quote, the perfect Earth, like, once the Guardians arrive at Counter Earth, and it's like, you see the drug deals going in the back alley and everything, and it's like, you haven't solved anything.
Yeah, Peter's like, if this is a perfect society, why are there squid guys selling meth to, like, roach-headed guys? And he's like, you're right. He's like, what? I'm right. He's like, yeah, this experiment's failed. I'm going to wipe this one out, and we're going to start over with the next generation of... So, yeah, apparently this dude, like, is obsessed with perfection, but he can't actually get it, and he's just, like...
Maybe that's because he's not perfect.
Yeah, build a planet, decide it doesn't work, wipe out that planet, and build another planet. So, and there's no telling how many times he's fucking murdered a planet of people just to start his experiment over with. So this dude's like fucking Thanos 2.0, where he's like, just wipe this planet out, start over. And apparently he's like, I visited Earth once and I really liked y'all's like music and art and shit, so I'm basing my counter Earth on. So it's like there's all these like evolved animal type people, but it looks like, I don't know, 80s Earth from the from the vehicles and shit they're driving around. Which we get, like, this is where we get our first F-bomb, because when they get to this planet, they're like, all right, we got to go to this base here to find the guy. He's like, can we borrow your car? And Gamora has never seen a car. And she's like trying to open the door, and Peter's like, dude, just hit the button. I'm hitting the button. No, it looks like you're hitting the keyhole. The handle. Below the handle is a button. Press it in. She's like, okay, now what? Now open the fucking door. And then, like, when he goes to drive, he's fucking bad shifting. And she's like, I thought you said you could drive. She's like, dude, I was 8 when I left Earth. Like, who... Why do you think I would know how to drive a car? Like,
I could see you having problems with modern vehicles because guess what? Now there are no handles.
yeah, there's like, huh? I remember the first time I got one of those cars that had the automatic seats. Almost crushed myself. Oh, it was like one of those. It's like you can set up the seat to like a specific thing, and when you turn it off the car, the seat slides back. And I was briefly working as a auto detailer, and this lady hands me her keys, and I get in the car to like crank it up to like move it in the car wash, and as soon as I crank it up, the fucking seat starts sliding forward. I'm like, oh god, I'm gonna die.
This is how it all ends.
Yeah,
that's some Indiana Jones type shit right there.
it's your crap. Or like the now, like, you don't have cars, don't even have keys. You just have like the push button start. This is one of my friends, like his dad's getting a little out there, and he tried to steal his car the other day, but he couldn't figure out how to start it because he like, where did I put the key? He couldn't figure out the push button start, so he couldn't run off in his car.
Yeah, I'm okay with the push button start. What I don't like is the new transmission shifters. That's the turn knob.
Oh yeah, because that's like fucking like feels like your damn headlight switch and shit. You think you're in park, and then you get out, and your shit rolls down the driveway because you didn't turn it far enough.
Oops.
Yeah, I think they've gone away from those after a couple accidents. I know Dodge was doing it for a while, but I think it went back to like the regular old just shifter.
This is a very stingy smoke.
Eyes getting a little burny.
Yeah.
We need better ventilation in the studio.
It's not the fact that we're talking about Guardians and I'm reliving this entire film in my head. Okay, it's the cigar smoke.
We're not crying.
Fuck you.
It's the cigar smoke. Oh. But I gotta say, everyone in this movie kind of wrapping up, got a really cool story arc. I mean, we got pretty much all of, Rocket's backstory. And then, like I said, eventually once he finds out that they're destined to be decommissioned, he had been like stealing little parts the whole time and had built like basically a master key to open these cages. So he's like, cool, I'm gonna, tells the rest of his crew what's going on. He's like, so let's get out of here. We're gonna steal a ship. And as soon as he like gets them out of the cages, of course they come in and like shoot Lila, and and then Rocket like picks up a gun and like goes buck wild and starts capping motherfuckers and rips off the damn High Evolutionary's face. But in the crossfire, the rest of the group gets killed, so he's just him by himself, and he still manages to steal a ship and get the fuck out of there. But we didn't get to see him meeting Groot, but we got like pretty much his backstory up until that point, and it's like, oh yeah, that's why he like hates everybody and has like just kind of a touch of PTSD. It's like his only family he knew all got murked by this asshole.
I kind of really want to go back and read the comics now.
It's been a long time. You can probably pick up a bunch of those and like trade paperback and get. Because it was one that was like
I've tried the digital comic reader things, but I haven't found one that I like. It's like always like something is out of sync or,
Go get some trades. Speaking of like weird nerd shit, there's a Gundam store incoming now that just sells Gundam models. It's called the Gundam Place. I drove by that. I was like, what the fuck? There's a Gundam store here?
Yeah, see, I never got into the Gundam models, but,
It's like I just don't go into that town anymore, and I got done doing something at 3, and I had a 5 o'clock like dinner I was supposed to go to, so I had like 2 hours just to roam around, and I was like, what the hell is this? I didn't go in, but I drove by. I was like, when did we get a Gundam store?
I don't know. I saw somebody on Facebook today got the big ass Millennium Falcon Lego set.
Oh, that looks. Oh, speaking of which, have you seen the Batcave Lego set?
I just saw the thing for it today.
Oh, that looks sick. But yeah, it wouldn't be a Cigar Nerds podcast if we didn't wander off topic. But yeah, saying everybody got like a good story arc. We haven't talked about Nebula, who like first movie was a villain, and by the end of the second movie, she kind of like came to peace with her sister and was a member of the Guardians through the last couple Avengers movie. And by this one being, she's now she's like, I'm stepping away from the Guardians team proper because somebody has to run this town. For someone who's like kind of, I guess, always needed a real family, she's finally like building a family. She's like, I'm gonna kind of be mayor of nowhere here and take care of like not just the team but like this entire city. And then you got Drax, who's always just been kind of an idiot, and you think he's just like, and then they run into this group of children from the corn that's like the new ultimate beings that they rescue from the High Evolutionary, and he's like, no, y'all are scaring them, and like entertains the kids and like speaks their language. And she's like, why didn't you say you spoke their language? And he's like, you never asked. And then she's like, you're not meant to be the destroyer, you're meant to be the dad. Like, you need to stay here and help me like raise this fucking army of children. It's like, like pretty much all
Daddy
of them got
Drax,
like,
can we have a quarter for the gumball machine?
yeah. And it's like, and even him, like, all the time they're, Manta's trying to get him to dance. He's like, no, dancing is for idiots. And at the end, like, all the kids are dancing, and he finally is like, all right, fuck it. And like starts like, because it's kind of the whole journey started with his whole family got wiped out by Thanos. So he was like obsessed with like taking down Thanos. And then, he even gets like kind of, he's happy by the end. He's like, I've found I got a whole lot of kids now. It's like, so it's like, if this, wraps it all up, and we don't see Guardians anymore. It's like they gave everybody like kind of a cool arc to kind of wrap this version of the journey up.
Yeah, the only arc would be Peter's. You know, for this movie, I'm glad they left it like it is, because if it turned into, oh, now him and Gamora are back in love, like I think that would have felt, you know,
yeah, because we gotta get that closure
forced,
where she's like, you know, she's leaving with the Ravagers.
But I think, you know, the fact that, hey, she's out there somewhere, you know, maybe that's a sense of closure in some regards.
But I like that where he's not obsessing over her anymore, and she's like, "You realize I'm not the one you lost." She's like, "Yeah, I realize that now, but the person you are is still pretty cool." And like, so they end up you're kind of being friends at the end, and then you get to see her once she rejoins the Ravagers. She's kind of made the Ravagers a family, and she's gotten that family that she's never had, that she's been looking for, that kind of previous Gamora had gotten with the Guardians. So this Gamora, you know, not such a, because she kind of starts off like violent pirate lady, and by the end of it she's like, all these Guardians and the family stuff isn't that bad. Like she actually, like, you know, is left alone with Rocket, you know, and instead of saying, you know, fuck this guy, I'm in it for myself, she, like, you know, fights to protect.
Well, I mean, I think
Rocket.
Originally, you know, she says, you know, fuck it, you know, but, you know, through Rocket's evolution, through, you know, her seeing
How the
you know
Guardians
how
care
the
for
units,
each other.
you know,
Yeah.
operate as, you know, a team and everything, like, and then she realizes, oh shit, you know, I didn't just call, you know, the fucking Ravagers, you know, fucking Warlock was listening in, and, you know, send in, dude, that was some straight up Doom shit too, by the way, like the fucking Hellspawn.
Oh yeah, like what about fucking Warpig? Like, you know, the High Evolution got like
that gave me hopes for another live action fucking Bebop and Rocksteady.
yeah,
Like,
it was pretty much. I was like, is that Bebop and Rocksteady? And it's like, you know, Warpig.
and
Cue
the
some
fact
Ozzy.
that- yeah, I mean the fact that they didn't, you know, fucking play War Pigs right there. Like,
That was a missed
who's in
opportunity.
charge of this fucking soundtrack anyway?
Even Kraglin, when the because like they're like, we got to take off the evolutionary, so they call Kraglin. He's like, you know, we need some backup. Turns out Nowhere is not just a floating head in the space; it's also a ship. So they show up and like blow a fucking hole in the side of the evolutionary ship, so they can like go in to rescue the rest of the team. Because Peter's like, all right, everybody stay with the ship. Nobody stays with the ship, and then like the ship's taking off and the planet's blowing up. We got to go rescue Peter, and they all get on the ship, and they're like, where you at? Dude, I left. I'm at the ship. What? It's like, y'all should know. I always come up with a creative way to escape. Like, fucking, like, why did y'all go into the ship? So now we gotta rescue your ass. But of course they, you know, save Rocket so they can go for the final rescue. But that Marvel knows how to do a hallway fight. The fucking them, like, you know, queuing up the Beastie Boys and just fucking laying waste to all those damn mutant cyborg fucking things in the ship. Like, I was like, oh, this is badass.
I mean that was almost reminiscent of the Punisher, you know, jailhouse scene.
Yeah, it's like, if there's one thing Marvel knows how to do, it's a fucking hallway fight, because they went in there and fucked some shit up.
It's like, yeah, we're outnumbered 40-1. Fuck it, I like our odds.
That's what we do. We die trying. and then you know, Peter's like, all right. They dock kind of nowhere with the ship, and he's like, get everybody off the ship, save all the higher life forms. And then Rocket's like, no, we're saving everybody, and goes and starts freeing all the animals that they were experimenting on. And I like, he finds like the cage full of baby raccoons, and there's like the scientific description of what they are, and it's like, yeah, all the like the Latin shit, and at the very bottom, common name, raccoon. He's like, fuck, I am a raccoon. Son of a bitch.
Yeah, but I kind of like it, you know, where he's like, okay, I'm going to save my kind, and then he looks around at all the other animals and shit, like...
It's like, no, we're saving everybody.
That was some Jay and Silent Bob type shit, you know, we're going to break into the
It's the clit.
Yeah.
But then you also get that that kind of final fight scene with with the High Evolutionary, and like the whole team shows up and starts backing up Rocket, and then he's like, "My name isn't 821 or whatever. My name is Rocket Raccoon," and just fucking blows him away.
P1385.
Yeah. And then they find out his like face is like tears it off, and he's just all fucked up. And I love Peter's insult too when he's like, when they call him up and like demand their surrender, and he's like, turn over your the experiment, and I'll let your friends go. And he's like, listen here, you RoboCop looking Skeletor wannabe. He's like, oh, he hung up on me. And especially after he got his face ripped off, I'm like, dude, it's a Skeletor looking motherfucker. I get it. Good insult.
How do you get hung up on? Call of Duty Skeletor, motherfucker. How many properties can we introduce into this property?
You RoboCop reject, Skeletor looking mother. Oh, he hung up. Did you notice Peter's new ship name? Because his last one was the Milano, named after Alyssa Milano. This one is the what's his name? Rocket Man.
Elton John?
No, the other one. Ziggy Stardust. Why am I blanking on his name? Bowie. Yeah, it's the David Bowie is his new ship. But even Kraglin got kind of a redemption because he's been struggling with learning the fucking arrow thing, and then once all the
you see it in the first attack, and
once all the aliens he hits Warlock with it, and he's like, who threw that at me? He's just like, fuck. But yeah, he finally all the aliens are attacking nowhere, and he sees people getting hurt, and then he sees like kind of a vision of Yondu, and he's like, use your heart, boy. And then he finally just like fucking just starts fucking everybody up until the arrow gets like stuck in a wall, and the guy's like, is that all you got? And then like the fucking two walls like come together, and he's like, a dog? And then he's like, squish. He's like, yeah, she's a good dog.
I like how the collar lights up red and green too. Like, I'm unhappy. Now I'm happy. But I could have communicated that to you. I need a Cosmo dog. Where do I get one of those?
Mother Russia.
I'm not going there.
Oh.
Thought you were going somewhere with that.
Nah.
Then you lost it.
Somebody fucking texting me.
But even Mantis, like, fucking coming in, like, when they raid the ship, and it's like, I don't remember what the name of the creatures are, but they're fucking behemoths.
Yeah, it was those like tentacle things from like the opening of Guardians 2.
But it's like they're not trying to attack us. They're afraid of what we're going to do to them. Like, and like they end up fucking riding them out. Like,
yeah, and even bring them when they like free all the animals, and like and as they're
like
all
Sonic the Hedgehog. At the end of each level, you jump on a little thing, and all the little critters scurry. Like, we're free. Dr. Robotnik no longer has us.
Oh, and then you get like again the cock tease where it's like the connection between the ships fail as because Peter like goes behind because he drops his fucking Zune, and then can't make the jump, and is like starting to freeze to death, and you're like, oh, here's where they kill him. And then Warlock, who's like, because like they finally like blow him up, but he's still not dead because he's like fucking ultimate power, and Groot like pulls him off the ship, and he's like, why did you save me? He's like, I am Groot. And he's like, he says everyone deserves a second chance. And so that he's like, actually flies out and saves Peter, and he's like, all right, I guess I'm a good guy now. That asshole killed my mom, so I'm gonna join you guys.
Yeah, but your mom was kind of a manipulative bitch.
But that one where they capture one of the Ravagers, and she's like, show him we mean business. And he's like, okay, and just fucking melts him. And he's like, how are we gonna do business now? You melted him. You didn't specify. He's like, she's like, he's kind of an idiot. Fucking
And what the fuck was the
Filion's
axle?
like, I know I've got one of those too. I get it.
What the little creature that follows him around kind of remind me of like an axolotl, but
like a furry axle. It kind of reminds me of the Loth cats from Rebels. But that becomes like their new pet, and fucking Warlock is like, I'm keeping this. She's like, no, you're not. Just like, kill that thing. He's like, no, it was sad when I killed his friend, and it made me sad, so I'm going to make it not sad. And this becomes his like partner.
reminds me of my dog. My dog pisses when it gets scared too.
Oh.
But just the way they gave all of the, creatures and stuff, sort of personalities and dude, it was just a fucking just another good wholesome. Like I truly feel like this is the middle finger to,
Yeah, it's like, I'm gonna make my last movie here like the best movie. So y'all would be like, oh fuck, why did we let him go? we should give him a studio, and like DC did. Oh. And then we get like our goodbyes, because Peter's like, Mantis was right. I've been running from life. I need to go home, see if my grandfather's still alive, and find out who I am. And Mantis is like, me too. I've pretty much just did what Ego needed, and then I did what the Guardians needed. I don't know what I need, so I'm gonna take my 3 tentacled pets here, and I'm gonna go kind of find out what I want to do with my life. And we get our post credits of our new Guardians team.
Well, even before the post credits, though, so we get a new nomination. Rocket gets a title upgrade.
Captain Rocket.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's the new leader of the. Because they're like, what, are we disbanding? And they're like, no, the galaxy needs its Guardians. But I'm just not going to be captain for a while, so I nominate. Because they're like, is Nebula leader now? She's like, no, I got to take care of this city. Like, so Rocket, you're the new captain. Build your team. And I like that we get that the kind of the post credits where it almost looks like that famous like desert scene where Kirk fights the green alien. I'm pretty sure that's like the same kind of desert
nah, dude,
area.
This is straight out of Starship Troopers.
But they're all sitting there like on these rocks, and they're like having a talk about, all right, who's your favorite band? And it's like one of the kids is now part of the team, and she's got like some kind of like laser powers, and like Warlock, and she's like Britney Spears, and like Warlock, he's joined the team, and Kraglin now he's like, I can actually use the arrow. He's part of the team. And then like you see all the aliens just all losing their shit, and they're all just sitting there chilling, talking about music, and like not giving a fuck, while these people are behind them just like panicking. And then finally you see this horde of damn aliens come over the hill, and it's like, and Craig's like, you want me to take care of this, boss? I can do this on my own. I'm like, nah, we should all do this together. He's like, on your word. And he's like, word. And just starts fucking blasting motherfuckers. And then you see Peter go home, and his grandfather is still alive, and you get the post credit scene where he's just like sitting at the table having cereal, and the grandpa's reading a paper, and there's a story about Kevin Bacon says he's abducted by aliens, which is from the fucking Christmas special. But he's like, all right, I'll go cut the neighbor's grass, but it kind of feels weird that they got like a 40-year-old adult son who's going to watch me. That motherfucker should be helping. And he's like, oh yeah, don't get me started about that fucker. And he's like, actually, I kind of want to get you started. Like, I don't want to hear what you got to say, Dad, Grandpa. Tell me how fucked up. And we also get the, this may be the last Guardians movie, but it says Star-Lord, legendary Star Wars will return. So I'm assuming he's going to show up in some of these Avengers movies, especially now that he's on Earth. So he's, convenient to get bored cutting lawns in the neighborhood and go join the Avengers team.
It's like, what have they been up to? Where are you at, Fury? You're somewhere.
I don't know. We have to wait till sometime in June when Secret Wars comes out to find out what Fury's been doing. And then November we have the the Marvels.
I'm not sure how I feel about the Marvels. Like I don't know. The trailers haven't like.
I mean, the Miss Marvel TV show was kind of cute. It was more of a kids type thing, but you know, Fury's back, so anytime you bring Fury back,
I'm kind of over like the cute side of Marvel. Like we had that, you know, like now it's.
Oh, the trailers for Secret Invasion looks fucking dark. It looks like a spy drama in the middle of the Marvel universe. So it's kind of one thing they've been doing with the non-movies, like the TV shows. It's just kind of exploring different genres. I mean, hell, like the last Doctor Strange movie was damn near a horror movie. So it's like we're trying something kind of a different genre for each film.
Yeah, I think they're really trying to. Comic books aren't just for kids, you know, like. And I'm glad to see that.
They were, and we all got old. So now it's like, all right, comics are for adults. Kids are TikToking. They're not reading comic books. God.
The Chinese invasion has begun. It's already here, man.
Here, I think it was like Montana finally banned. This is the first state to ban TikTok.
Yeah.
Don't know how they're going to enforce that shit, but yeah, it's like. Oh.
It's Montana.
All right, so what do you think? We've put it off. What's your thoughts on the future?
I don't know. I kind of feel like they're going to have to go the direction of, you know, the holiday special. I mean, you know, you just put Batista in a dad role, but he says he's done. Now, then again, I'm like,
people have said they're done,
how many
and then
times...
they back up some truck full of money, and they're like, all right, maybe I'm not done.
Yeah, you know. I don't know, you know. I
mean, there's no new Guardians on that kind of extended release schedule that they gave us, but doesn't mean they're not going to show up in a future Avengers movie or something like that. Or especially Star-Lord. I expect him to just keep showing up here and there in other people's properties until we get, because I think there's.
Well, I mean,
we know we're getting a Fantastic Four in like whatever the next phase is, and they kind of deal with space and whatnot, and you know, if we get like a. The Galactus is like, you know, new bad guy down, or even Ming, they've kind of, you know, made him, you know, from Ant-Man, you know, Ming the whatever is supposed to be like the new big bad, the new Thanos for this phase. So Guardians probably have to show back up, deal with that asshole at some point.
So at what point does Flash fuck up the timeline with James Gunn now going to DC? And we get Marvels and DC, like...
I fully expect that's how they're going to... Because, you know, he's already said, like, once the things that are kind of already on the slate are done, we're kind of, like, rebooting and starting over. I expect that's how, like, the Flash movie's going to end, is, like, a Flashpoint, and it, like, resets the... Whatever happens in that Flash movie, like, resets the DC universe at the end, so we can start the new James Gunn universe. That's how they're going to make all the changes, is blame it on... God damn it, Barry.
I mean, just such a... Which I'm... You know... I mean, there's been some alright DC stuff, but I'm really hoping they give Gunn the flexibility and the freedom, and it doesn't just become Marvel 2.0 now in DC. Like...
I mean, that's what they've tried to do, but they've just... Poor execution of the plan. Where maybe now that they've got kind of... Gunn in that Kevin Feige role at Marvel, where he kind of oversees all the properties and kind of makes sure all the pieces fit together. Now Gunn can do that, you know, for his DC universe, and maybe we'll get.
Can we just lose Marvel and DC properties, kinda, and just say comic universe and
cross them all over?
Yeah, I mean, because essentially that's what's happening with streaming and everything else, like.
Yeah, because, like, fucking, whatchamacallit, HBO is now...
Like, I'm tired of, you know...
HBO, Discovery, and everything else, and fucking Disney is Hulu.
Why does everything have to be a reboot or not a reboot or resetting? Like, we got all these properties. Let's come up with something like completely original.
Well, Disney owns Hulu now, so can we get the Sons of Anarchy in the Marvel Universe? Peter joins a biker gang.
Sons of Anarchy join the biker mice from Mars, man.
Oh, fuck. I want to see a Lobo movie. Speaking of like space bikers. Yeah. I don't know if that's on James Gunn's list of to-dos, but a fucking Lobo movie would be badass.
You know, I mean, Vin Diesel's already Groot, you know, like... we get, you know, Fast and the Furious meets the Marvels, you know.
I mean, they did go to space in the last movie.
I don't care. I'm still going to see Fast X.
Yeah. No doubt. Probably. So, as we kind of wrap things up, yeah, like, I fully expect to see the Guardians return, and if not their own movie, in part of someone else's, like, universe. Same thing with Quill, but what about this here Cigar? What do you think of it here as we're wrapping all this up?
Dude, it was good.
Bringing it in for a landing.
I mean, it very flavorful, you know, a good, you know, hour-long smoke. Definitely feel like, you know, these are kind of weird that you got to buy in a 5-pack instead of, you know, individuals, but, you know, the marketing is...
And so it's like $40 for a 5-pack, so it's not outrageously expensive.
And I would say that this is a good, you know, sub $10 cigar.
Yep.
I mean, this is on par with some of the Olivia, you know, nub stuff that I've smoked.
And for being like a kind of a small, weird cigar, it has about an hour burn time. So it's not like a quick smoke as it appears to be. It's definitely got some length to it. You can get at least, you know, hour and 20 out of it.
And I don't know, it's weird to me because not all cigars smell the same. This has got a good aroma to it. It's just hell on the eyes in this confined space that we're in.
It could be I smoked one before he showed up too. So there's been like 3 cigars smoked in this office today. Got to get one of those like ionic breeze like air purifiers that doesn't make any noise, so we won't pick them up on the mic, so we can actually like clear the smoke out of here. Might be on the future expansion list. Oh, but we also didn't talk about Peter's face off. Like, they're like, you're going to see the High Inquisitor. Like, you know it's a trap, right? It's not a trap. If you know it's a trap, it's a face-off. Like, whatever, dude. You're walking into a trap. No, it's a face-off. And then he, like, hides all his guns inside a Groot. And he's like, you know, has a big showdown with him. And then they start blowing up. And he's like, all right, Groot, kill them all. And they fucking
which is kind of weird to
dual-wielding
me,
blasters and
like,
shit.
No, Nebula, you can't come. Your arm's a weapon. And it's like, Groot himself is a fucking weapon. Like,
yeah, when they first get off the ship and like they're trying to, you know, contact the aliens, fucking Drax like fucking beans one in the head with a basketball, and they all start throwing rocks, and they're like, Groot, go full kaiju. And he starts getting like big as shit, and he's like, no, don't go full kaiju. It's a mistake. Everybody calm down. And fucking Drax is like, we're going to kill them all. He's like, no, we're not going to kill anybody. We're going to kill a few people. No, we're not going to kill. Or we're going to kill one dude. One dude no one cares about. Dude, now you're just making it sad.
What did you think about them actually having Groot voice? You know, the audible English statement.
Oh, where he's like, I love you guys. Or
Yeah.
whatever. I mean, the first one we got, we are Groot. So it's like, he finally like, and I like it funny too, because like everyone like, he just kind of like Chewbacca, you know, he says shit, no one understands him except for the Guardians. And then when Gamora kind of comes up, he's like, I'm Groot. I know who you are. You can quit saying I'm. So through the whole movie, she's like, don't understand him. And then finally, when she like kind of becomes part of the group, she's like, he says something. She's like, yeah, you know what? He's like, oh fuck, I understand Groot now. It's like I'm part of the family. It's like once you spend enough time around him, I guess his pollen or whatever like works as a universal
the
translator.
inflection, you know, that sort of thing. Like, that's just one of the uniquenesses that I've always enjoyed about that character. Is
Well, technically, Peter didn't get the first fuck in the Marvel Universe because Groot said fuck in the last movie. We just couldn't understand him because he said I am Groot. So you get that one thing where he's like I am Groot and to Yondu. And did he say? What did the twig say? And he said, welcome to the freaking Guardians of the Galaxy. but he didn't say freaking. So technically it was Groot. We just didn't understand him at the time.
Fine, I recant my statement. I can't remember that far back, Joe.
Oh, yes. I remember a lot of useless knowledge. But that's all we got for you this week. We're going to be right back with some science. If you're watching on YouTube, like, comment, and subscribe. And you've been watching the Cigar Nerds podcast. Check us out on cigarnerdpodcast.com and on the ESO Network, esonetwork.com. And don't forget, smoke them if you got them. Like, comment, and subscribe.